Hello guys, welcome back to the Ruffleberry Pwnecake channel on YouTube. I'm coming here because I have been requested this a couple times by some close friends and some fans from around town and around the country. This question came to me and they asked me, Jesse, why don't you do an episode over survival, most particularly zombie survival? Well, I know that zombies are highly improbable, and in a lot of ways I often damn the people, so to speak, that want that to happen for many, basic reasons. But what happens when the trucks stop, the food stops, and not to mention the fact that you have zombies at your door looking for you and wanting to eat you, like yesterday's supper, and not to mention the crazy people running around. Now, a lot of people ask me that. Well, I'm going to do this not in particular order, but I'm going to do this into things that I would probably end up using myself. That being said, you also got to understand it's all about preference. It's all about what you think would be the best thing for you. That doesn't necessarily mean it for me. Again, let's just jump right into it. Now, I'm going to do the weapons part first. Now, one of the most important things you could possibly have as a weapon is you. Not a knife, not a gun. You yourself can learn how to do all kinds of things. Teaching yourself basic martial arts or basic grapple moves can be the difference between life and death. Or basic things to push things and keep things away from you to have a field of motion. That being said, tools really help. Yes, handguns, rifles, and that sort of thing are all tools. They are tools of a specific trade. That is doing business with bullets. Now, the most basic of the tools, and one of my favorite, is a knife. Fits easy in the hand. It's very easy to carry. You don't have to reload it. Yes, sometimes you do have to sharpen it once in a while, maybe even clean it and wipe it off to be sure that you get the maximum uses and capabilities out of your knife. I polish mine simply because if you take care of it, it'll take care of you. So using responsibility for any kind of blade or any kind of weapon is definitely something that you have to consider. You can't just throw it in the mud like an AK-47. Even AKs need to be fixed, need to be cleaned, need to be taken care of. So my first is a knife. This is a Mora knife. They're very sharp right out of the carrier. They're very basic, they're very light, and everything about them has great use. It's got that nice, comfortable aerial handle. Very basic. This is a nice knife. It's the perfect kind of platform. A lot of people go with the Tanto. I prefer this kind just because of the shape, and they also come with a strip where you can strike things on the back, which is very nice. So, knife. I debated whether to go with a hatchet or a machete. Now, I found the best of both grounds. Now, a hatchet is used for chopping and separating things because it's a wedge, the best form of a wedge as far as tools go. A machete is used for clearing brush. This is my personal favorite. You can find this on Budk. It is a Gurkha kukri. What this is it combines two of my favorite things. You can both stab and slice, but it also, because of the shape of it, it chops. You see, if you take the meridian line, let's say you slash to about there, you have below my finger that much penetration, which makes it quite useful. So if you stab or slash and then pull back, you're getting all that extra blade going in and yanking out whatever it is. Not to mention the fact the way it's shaped, it's very easy to deflect things, it's very easy to smack things away, and it's very good for chopping wood. Not to mention this makes a great thrower. When you throw it, it's going to bury. The way it's shaped, it'll hit and then go in with the weight of the hilt to about there. I've seen some pretty nasty damage these things have done. Not to mention the fact that it's very basic in its build. That is a blood groove, by the way. If you were to chop something, it makes the water or the blood or whatever have you that you're chopping into run out of the way of the front of the fingers so it doesn't slip out. That being said, this is a very, very versatile blade. Very simple in its looks, and I don't think that the creator really fully understood all the uses for this blade. I use it for everything, as you can tell it's a little dirty and beat up. Some of the stuff I just can't polish out. Moving on to a strictly offensive weapon. Thanks to Cold Steel and the show Zombies Go Boom, I've learned quite a bit of things that I didn't necessarily think about when I did buy this. That being said, when you can the blunt end of this can crush through a solid cowbone femur, which is a very, very thick femur in one swing, and you don't even have to try. It is a Gunstock War Club. I'm, of course, of native blood, and the cool thing about this is it's just a simple gunstock with a big business end spike at the end, and I'll show you what that is. That is a 3 by 2 inch spike, and it's pretty much used for wedging into whatever you can get it into. The cool thing is it's got a lot of deflecting capabilities with the different shapes. Someone gets on you, you can put that right in the middle. If someone hits you in the middle of the back with that, it's not going to feel good. The cool thing is it's very versatile. If you need to get into some place, you can speed a door in. It's very light, it's very useful, and it's an excellent thrower. Again, I don't recommend that you throw anything at anybody, but if you have to, and you know you can, I would definitely go for it. But run at the blade, you need to be right behind that blade as it's going itself, so you can get it as soon as possible. That being said, one swing of this could easily break a bone. I'm not even kidding you, and that's just the soft end. A jab at this could definitely hurt somebody. Hit them in the face with this area right here, it would not be comfortable, and to hit somebody with this business end or anything below it or around it would definitely not feel good. So this is possibly one of my favorite offensive tools because of the uses. You can beat a door down, you can even break up sticks or small saplings to get extra wood in case this isn't doing it. I mean, just this object is very useful. I mean, you can even chop 2x4s. I've seen them do that. You can split wood with it, from what I've seen. But you can also take a screen, break out the glass with this very simply to keep you away from the glass, and to slash the screen open. I don't recommend you do that because it seems unnecessary considering the glass can cut you and cause infection. So yeah, a lot of things with this. Again, it's all about preference. A lot of people would ask me why wouldn't I choose a katana. Remember, what a lot of people don't understand about the katana is it's a specialty weapon. You believe it or not, in a couple swipes you can actually dull that sword completely or even snap it right in half. I've seen that happen with people that are not trained and skilled enough in that weapon. It takes a great deal of confidence and a great deal of training to use it. It is not an easily wieldable weapon. While there are other, I have to say that the katana is by far one of my least favorite swords because of its handicaps, so to speak. That being said, it's not a bad sword, but there are plenty of others that you can use. This will not dull. This will not lose purpose. Even if the spike is to chip, it is not completely useless and the blade is still deadly. You still got the club, and I tell you what, this will snap through any katana you come at with. It'll break it right in half. So I would say I would prefer something like that with the metal option. Next is, of course, a weapon. Now, a lot of people say that they would want a large centerfire rifle, such as a long rifle, carbine of some sort. But I would have to say, if a pistol really works a lot better for me, or even a 22. I don't have my 22 with me at this moment, but I would prefer that. 22 and pistol rounds are very, very, very easy to carry around. They're considerably lighter, and while they are more expensive, you can carry a lot more of these than you can. This is a dummy airsoft, but more of these. This isn't full of grain or anything, it's just a tube, but imagine the weight of these, several of these, versus just a couple hundred of these. These are nice because you can place things into a lot of carbine style, small rifles like from World War II. If I added a buttstock mod to this to be very accurate, this is of course the Chiappa Rhino, one of the most accurate pistols out today. The under barrel, which I'm not going to aim towards you for safety, underneath here, it adds quite a bit of recoil reduction and quite a bit of accuracy right out of the box. That being said, the gun itself handles great. The kickback of a 357 Magnum isn't too bad. It's not bad at all. It's like shooting a 9mm, and shooting a 38 Special has been said to feel like a 22, which I can pretty much validate. It's not too bad at all. This is indeed a fine piece of machinery, but like all pistols, you do have to take care of them. You have to oil them, you have to protect them, so that's why I believe, and this is a new one I bought, but buy one of these if you're going to use a gun of any kind. Knives are not as high maintenance, but guns are very, very high maintenance. I don't care if it's Russian made, I don't care where it's from, you still need to get the maximum amount of performance and the maximum amount of capabilities out of your weapon system. You need to go with something that can protect it and take care of it. So, I do not recommend, if you cannot take care of a gun properly, to have any kind of gun, or rifle, or pistol, or any kind of sidearm. Because if you can't take care of it, you're not going to be able to use it to its maximum capabilities. They are a lot of work, they are made of metal, and metal, well, gets messed up. Well guys, this is the end of the weapons portion of my video. Thanks for stopping by. Howdy there guys, and welcome back to yet the other portion of my zombie survival episode. Now we're going to move on to something that a lot of people overlook quite a bit. Now this is of course preference again, but with the proper training and physical training, of course, you too could get used to it, or would know to use it to its maximum potential. And I'm talking, of course, about protection and wear. Now, one of my first tips I could possibly tell you is this: to have a uniform, While you may not be in the military, or maybe you are in the military, wearing a military uniform definitely puts you high on the totem pole for somebody who people will listen to and will follow. Not to mention that, but it'll also give you a field of protection in some sorts of way. Now, this isn't guaranteed. Now, some people just kill indiscriminately because there's no rules, and there are people like that. And if you are like that and you're watching this, shame on you. But wearing a uniform gives you the sense of command. It makes people trust you, and it makes people want to gravitate towards you to help fight for whatever cause you're fighting for. That being said, let's move on to protection itself. That's just a little tip from me to you. First off, we're going to talk, of course, about one of the most important things you need to protect on your entire body, aside from your head, all this around here. Your hands. Your hands are by far one of the most important tools in your survival kit. Your hands can do so much. They can articulate, they can pick things up, and they can even drop somebody. So, here is what I think you should have. Number one on protection, gloves. A lot of people don't think about it, but you can easily get your finger bit off. Apparently, it takes the same pressure to bite through a carrot as it does through a finger. So, protecting these puppies is number one. I remember when I was on a survival trip and we were making a fire when I was in college down by the creek. I was making a bird nest style fire, and what happened was when I grabbed some sawgrass, it ripped the entrails of my finger out along with the grass itself. It sliced me like a knife through butter. And I tell you what, it was incredibly painful. I had to stuff it back in and glue it shut. And I can tell you it did not feel good. I did go to the hospital just to be sure, and thank goodness it didn't get infected. But you don't want to be in that sort of situation. Cutting your hands is not good because infection can set in. Even if you have a good immune system, it doesn't mean that there isn't some piece of bacteria on your body that can so happen to get inside you at the right times, making it seemingly one of the most dangerous things possible. But gloves are highly important. I cannot stress that to you. There's so many uses for gloves. I mean, just to protect them, to keep them from weather from getting to them, like frostbite, in the event cold weather comes from. Zombies are not the only thing you need to be afraid of. It's also, the elements and other people, like getting into a fight. My knuckles are chewed up from fights from high school, and that's a regrettable part of my life, but it happened, gloves are definitely important, so I definitely recommend gloves being first in your protection. Next are foot protection. In Vietnam, a lot of people, like in Forrest Gump, which I've been watching recently, change your socks, take care of your feet. It's one of the most important things because your legs are the second most important tool in your body because they get you moving. If you didn't have legs, I feel bad for you, my friend, because you better hope to God that you have somebody or some place to hide behind, because you might be bait. But if you are capable of taking care of your feet, I would recommend the Magnums. Magnum boots are by far the best boots I have ever bought. I've had quite a few boots, and I've even had the military issue boots, and I can tell you these are superior in every possible way. The Ortholite technology inside not only helps your feet breathe, but there's also a special biotic inside that kills foot odor and helps fight against foot stench, foot rot, and athlete's foot. So these are definitely good boots. The filter inside definitely takes the sweat away, and they remain very sturdy boots. Not to mention the very light composite and leather materials on this, making these less than a pound. I can literally hold these up with my pinky. I dropped one, but you get the basic idea. The box it came in was even heavier than the boots, about twice as heavy. These are about less than 8 ounces, but they are highly durable. I put them through their paces, and they stood up very well. And by taking care of them, they will take care of you. Of course, with extreme weather, I recommend boots anyway, because boots will definitely give you more protection. Whether you want steel toe or not, I prefer not to have steel toe because it just adds a little bit of weight. But this is more than enough for me. I don't take any unnecessary risks in survival. That's one of the basic tenets of survival, is to never take unnecessary risks. Always take the easy way out. And as Cody Lundin once said, survival is a lazy man's game. A lot of the time, people overlook things. They go too fast, they get too much of a panic, and they go for things that aren't necessarily good and can often take risks that end up getting them hurt in some way or even killing them. So it's definitely important that you take your sweet time in survival and think things through. Now, going on to body armor, I would use my tactical vest and things like this in my riot gear because it is dense. This is hardened special polymer plates. You're not going to get your teeth through this. There isn't a thing that can bite you through this. It's very strong, it's very durable, and arguably this is the most important part of your armor because again you will be protecting your phalanges, your appendages. These are important. You've got to protect all this, and like I said, this will come all the way up to the elbow. And if someone gets on you, you can easily sling it off, and you can even bash their heads in with this. This is hard stuff, and I mean this is a hammer. I mean, hitting something with this would definitely knock them out of the game, so to speak. So, arm and leg protection are definitely very good. They're light, they're very stiff, very tough, and once the fabric around has been worked in to your liking, it's very easy to move. It's like wearing pants. It's not even a big deal. That's a good part about it. A lot of people say, oh, well, running in your tactical vest, that gets heavy, unnecessary weight. Well, it's all about training. In the Marine Corps, I know a lot of people that run around with 90-pound packs plus their armor, and they can do it all day long. You're no different. You're just as special. It's just about training and discipline. If you train with all this stuff on, you will be used to it like it's not even a big deal. Other people will be worried and over-encumbered with just a sack full of, clothes and whatnot and some food cans. I can carry twice the weight even with a severely damaged back and herniated discs. The reason why I can do it is because I can distribute the weight out where it won't hurt me, and that I've trained my muscles to be able to handle such things. I won't over-encumber myself, but I'll definitely be able to wear all this without much trouble. And to top it off, my vest also works as a back brace, which keeps my back in good shape. That being said, moving on to my final piece of the armor episode, the mask. Now, safety goggles or something like that would definitely work, but goggles can get smeared, they can fog up, and be very difficult to see. Again, this is an airsoft implement. A lot of people tell me that, oh my gosh, why would you use airsoft for anything? I mean, that's stupid. It's not meant to go into a firefight. True, but this can take a hockey puck directly to the face. People are still going to punch you. Things are still going to swipe at you. Things are still going to try and get on you. And this works as a good windbreak for the cold weather. It also keeps your face insulated. And not to mention the fact that if blood splatters on you or water gets on you, it'll just run off. Even though this is mesh, or it won't smear or anything, you'll still have sight picture. I've taken it and misted it, and it'll bead up, but it will not get inside the mask. It won't splatter inward, which is good because you can still continue to see just without getting the blood on you, because the fluids are the most dangerous part of it. That being said, this really helps. It protects almost your whole face, and it comes down quite a bit to where it'll protect the front of your neck. So it's good. Now, if you aren't going to get attacked by a zombie, you simply just put on a hook and take it off. That way you have better peripheral vision. But if you're in the middle of a fight, you can definitely slide this on. It's light. You can slide it on and run through them without having to worry about too much, or fight without getting too much of it on your face, because there's a lot of orifices that it can go into and harm. So, the armor is all important. Of course, it's all about preference. You can even take duct tape and carpet, which is a very strong material, or just duct tape around several layers of fabric, and it can do the same thing. But armor and protecting yourself is definitely important in the zombie apocalypse. No one's invincible. There's always stronger things out there against you. There are also people and food shortages, so making sure that you are protected and defended is the best form of offense. Well guys, that cuts it for the armor protection portion of this video. Thanks for stopping by. Hi guys, welcome back to the third part of this. We're going to talk about supplies to fill your little containers. I'm going to split this one up into two parts because it's considerably longer. Now we're going to talk about some very basic things. The most important thing to your survival is actually fire. Creating a fire can help purify water and keep you warm, and do things like dry your clothes and keep those socks dry and all sorts of things like that. It can also help burn wounds shut. Well, I don't recommend you burn yourself because it can cause infection. It can definitely help you in a split situation. That being said, fire. Having a striker is one of the most important things you can do. This one comes with a nice little emergency whistle, so it would definitely help you out quite a bit. It's very light, it's very easy to carry, and it's better than starting it with a bow and fire. So, also, I have all-weather matches. Having multiple ways to make fire is very important. However, when you are carrying such things, I don't recommend you carry everything in one spot, because if you get robbed or get things taken from you, you'll always have backup. You'll always have something in one of your pants or something like that. That way you know that you haven't lost something very important. So split your stuff up. Carry it around you. You have lots of pockets, so make sure you keep things hidden. Okay? Then I have char cloth. What you do is you take a snuss container, drill a hole in the top, and place like cloth in small 1-inch squares. By doing that, what you do is you place them in there, like so. This used to be a white t-shirt, by the way. Placing it on the fire, you drill a hole through the top, and the smoke starts to come out. You can light that smoke because it's actually a chemical reaction that you can use as fuel, believe it or not. And it will make steam, and it will burn, and it will cause natural gas. Once that pilot light goes out, you know that this is ready. You take these off, and you can use these as an ignition source. Very flammable, very easy to use as tinder, which you can use safely to use what I'm moving on next. Thanks to my friend Trenton, by the way, for both the char cloth and the hobo stove. What this is, this used to be an old cream soda can, which you can power with alcohol or heat, which is good for explosives and creating fire and stuff. I just don't recommend you cook this over an open fire with food because the chemicals can get on it, blah, blah. But this works as a good gas stove. See, you fill it up a little bit, and it'll go into the slots, and the fire will come out through these little holes, creating effectively a perfect stove. So it's very light, weighs nothing. It's lighter than air, and it fits very well in a lot of places. It's very simple to make, and it costs you no money. So it's better than going and getting a mess kit with a stove in it, because those can run close to $50. And I know that money is tight in this economy, so that's a good, cheap alternative way of doing so without having to spend a lot of money. So there's my tip to you. Next is water and carrying. Now you can have a camel bag, any kind of thing that can contain water. You can't go wrong, as long as you don't let things cross-contaminate the clean water that you already have. But sometimes you need a drink. While I always recommend that you always drink from an open water source, and you know where the water is coming from, and even a dead body or oil or something is in the water up ahead, you should always drink from a running source of water. But if you have to, absolutely have to, you can use one of these to filter the water. This is a drinking straw. There's millions out there. This one's used by the military. The cool thing about this one is like most drinking straws, you can drink out of the toilet if you want to with a floater around. But this one can be attached to your camel bag, which is really nice, so you can drink dirty, muddy water through this and not have to worry about dumping it all over you, thus maximizing the amount of water you're going to intake. This one will do up to 50 gallons with the filters, and that's pretty nice because, I mean, that's a lot of water. You can even put these on bottles of water, those shower bags. I mean, anything you can think of, this thing will fit on. It's very versatile. I recommend this one. It's called Frontier Pro Ultralight Multi-Use Water Filters. You can pick these up just about any military surplus store. If they don't have it, they can probably tell you where to get it. That being said, you can't go anywhere without getting grub, so a mess kit is a very good way of eating your food. It helps you know where you're getting it. So these little mess kits run only about $7. They're very cheap, and they're made of a strong nylon polymer, which makes them very durable, very bouncy. And this is the cup, and the bowl similar, like so. Very nice little thing. It can fit a nice Norse pasta side, which is about 2 servings, so you know it can carry a lot of food. I have my CRKT eating implement. This tool can be used as a wrench, as a bottle opener, you name it. There's a million uses for it, so I recommend that. It's got a lot of uses. Keep those stored together because you don't want cross-contamination. Then I have my medical kit. It's got all your basics. It's got bandages, gauze patches, gauze, tannic acid for closing up wounds. It's got antiseptic wash with a painkiller in it that will help. It's also got masks and collection bags for all sorts of nastiness. It's even got all sorts of nice little things in here. I'll just take some of it out. Got it so tightly packed in here. This is turmeric. This one I really need to tell you about. This is a household spice, but it can seal up a wound. The Indians of the south of the United States would use turmeric. They would grind it and let it dry out. And by placing this on a wound, it would pucker the wound to where the blood would stop flowing and dry up the wound itself from bleeding. So this is good with a gauze patch. This is very important that you have this. It's cheap, it's useful, and you don't have to worry about bleeding out. Also, we have a little recipe note card bag, and it's got some syringes for rinsing out wounds, as well as a nice little Johnson & Johnson medikit with a lot of the basic cleaning implements for keeping wounds clean, as well as some needles, because, you know, sewing yourself up can be useful. You can also turn these into fish hooks, so on and so forth. So, it goes without saying. Finally, for this part of it, I'm going to talk about a trash bag. A trash bag can be used to cover your guns and everything like that, but it can also contain water, so that's good. If you're going to have a permanent spot, you can use this for water. While it can be punctured, it can be used for keeping your stuff dry. I've used these in airsoft to keep my guns dry. I mean, whatever you can think of, you can use this. A trash bag can be very important. Well guys, this is the end of the first part of containing gear. I'd like to thank you guys for stopping by. We're going to show you the second part here in just a moment. Thank you. Hi everybody, and welcome back to the third part of this survival video, chapter 2 of containers and what to put in them. I showed you some of the basic supplies, and I'm going to show you what I would use to get the job done as far as random stuff. That being said, pants. A change of pants is always nice. Now, when I got these, a lot of people say it's yellow. Well, if you need to be found, this would be definitely useful. And these are weather-resistant BDUs, so they're definitely useful again. And you can cut this up. Of course, these are biohazard pants. You can cut this up and make a flag to communicate with people without making noise. So, balls in your court, my friend. And it's nice to have dry clothes once in a while that don't smell. So, pants. And there's probably more uses for it. Next would be rope. Rope can be useful. It's got more uses than I can think of at the moment. Paracord especially, because it can be used as shoelaces and all sorts of things like that, but at the same time there's cords inside that can be used for trip wires and snares, and the outside can still be used as high tensile rope. So this has a lot of use, and this is a 500 test black paracord. Okay. Next is socks. Changing your socks is important, just like in war. You don't want to get trench foot or anything like that, to have to get your foot removed, because infection in the foot can be very nasty. So that kind of goes without saying. Socks are important. Next, a flashlight. You don't want anything too big like a mag light, because, I mean, if you're going to replace weapons, I would recommend you get a mag light, because yes, it's heavy, but it still can be used as a club. So if that's the case, just get one of these small steel LED lights. They're still strong, they're still bright, and you know, they're definitely useful. But if you can get a wind up or something like that, I'd recommend that. But the bigger, the heavier. So yeah. Next are two little things I've used in airsoft. They're two toys, actually, believe it or not. This one is the Hakotsu Thunderbee. It's a CO2 powered device that creates a large shotgun-like sound. It's very, very loud. A lot of people would ask me, Jess, what would we be needing to use that for? Well, as a distraction. While this can't hurt anything, really, I mean, at most your ears will ring for like 2 seconds, this is definitely a very useful tool. By placing a CO2 charge inside this charge, by unscrewing this bottom part, and pulling back the hammer safely, and putting the pin in by placing there, closing it, pulling the pin out, and placing it there while holding it closed, you have an effective gas-powered explosive for sound. By screwing this canister back on, it's very highly resistant and very dense, which this canister has a lot of uses if you want. By screwing that on, pulling the pin, and tossing it, it creates a distraction device, which I've used to success many times. It works on humans, it'll work on stupid zombies. That being said, this thing does the job. Hammer hits the spike inside, gas leaks out, kaboom. Now, that being said, you have to use these very sparingly, because of course this warhead is reusable. But if you throw it away from you and you need to get away, your life is more important. But if you can go back and get it, by all means, reuse it. That being said, you can use this in sticky situations, and it will definitely not fail you. Next is this little Wild Planet, or Spy Kids, invisible beam. It's an alert system. While, again, it makes noise, it's definitely a good last-ditch effort for security while you're sleeping. Let's say you're in the next room, you place one of these. To activate it, you slide your hand across, it turns on the sensor that's going off right now. Place it down by a door, and if something steps or walks by it, it'll go off. This is an older model, the batteries are dying, but you get the basic principle. It'll go off and alert everybody in the room to what's going on. So it's a good advanced alarm system for people and zombies alike. The next one would be my all-weather sleeping bag. This is up to about negative 14 degrees, so it's definitely useful. It's water resistant, and it'll definitely keep you warm, or keep you insulated during those cold nights on the road. But it's a good piece of deployable bedding that can definitely help you in the zombie apocalypse. This goes without saying, but it can be torn up and used for other things too if you find shelter. Okay. You know, for all those nights when you're out of heating, those comforts. Next would be containers. I use this military week bag that's got a lot of things in it. It's got a lot of capabilities. I recommend one of these because they won't wear out, and they're, when it comes to mauling gear, Another thing is different style bags as well. You can never go wrong with a bag. This is my side bag I use for sniping and airsoft, and this is my rifleman's side bag, but it can also be used as a medical bag. Color coding bags in modding gear is actually really good too. Red usually means medical, so this could definitely help too. Finally, I debated what would be the most important thing in my survival kit, and like most survivalists will tell you, surviving is almost 90% psychological. If you lose hope, you're going to die. If you start thinking stupid, you're going to die. If you start doing bad things, you're going to die. Making bad decisions by losing confidence or sanity or making poor judgment is the worst thing that can happen. So here are two things that can be even mightier than a handgun. One of them is the pen. Write to yourself. Keep yourself literate. Keep yourself educated. Continue to read and continue to do things like that. If you don't, you're going to make mistakes. Keep your mind sharp and running. The more you do that, the more hope you will have. And the more hope you have, the better off you'll be for yourself and for other people around you if you have a group. With that being said, form a group. There's nothing better than relying on people and having them be with you. You can't bear all this weight, most likely. So it's good to spread it out. Have people with skills. You have them learn about medicine while you learn about this. It helps you out in the long run. And finally, the ultimate survival tool for me would be a Holy Bible. A lot of people would ask me, why would I choose the Holy Bible? That being said, there's a lot of good things about this. In any page, you can hear beautiful things. Like the Lord's Prayer. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not be in want. He makes me lie down in green pastures, and he leads me behind still waters, and so on and so forth. There's a lot of encouragement in this. I've seen a lot of atheists that have actually placed this in their survival bag, and they couldn't be more correct. We need hope. We need to know that there's something better, even if we're lying to ourselves. And even if we're lying to ourselves, this will help us become better people. Love thy neighbor as yourself. Love the Lord your God with all your heart. The golden rule. All these tenets that you hear came from here. To build a better society, this would definitely help. A lot of people are on the fence with a lot of disagreements with Christianity, and that's fine. But a lot of these can really help build a good society. They help me be a good man by helping my friends and my family, and even my enemies. And this could definitely help you. Well, guys, this is Jesse Hill signing off for yet another episode of the Jesse Hill blog on Ruffleberry Poem Cake on the YouTube channel. I hope that some of this was able to help you and able to get you through this. And you guys have a nice day, and thanks for stopping by.